Listen, buddy, I'm not going to be around when the Armenians take over the world.
Who the hell wants you? Now let's walk it.
I'll bet I know more about Armenians than you do.
I bet you do.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the podcast. I'm your host, Levon Maradian, and this is Lost in Hollywood. This is season 2 of Lost in Hollywood, episode 2. And as you see, I am in my rightful place, right behind my signage. It's been a while now that, our first episode back was with me and my wife, our last episode, which got a great response from it. And, she was very, very shy, and she really, surprised me. She surprised me in the aspect of how she was as open as she was, and we will also have her back again, and many other friends and acquaintances and artists and many other interesting businessmen, creatives, and just cool people, I'm hoping to have a vast array of guests to come through and all of us have a great conversation with one another. So what is the topic of the day? Topics. So let me tell you where I was. I'll tell you why this podcast disappeared. A lot of the creativity disappeared from my end. They say you have creative block. I've had it for a little while, and I guess this could be a great outlet for that type of person that I am. I am that type of person. I am always thinking about doing something new, but sometimes it dies on the vine. I've been trying to do, merch in the aspect of I love clothing. I love streetwear and things of that nature. And as you see, I'm wearing a Drac Sport shirt. Like that matters, but I love streetwear. I like minimalism. I don't like to scream out loud about what I'm wearing, what is the label or what have you. I am my own label. Let's put it that way. I like it that way because I feel like you become more unique. Your thoughts are more unique. Your style is more unique, and you don't want to be like everybody else. I do not want to wear whatever the hell is trending right now. I'm not going to wear the pants that were in style in 1996 when I was a kid. You know what I'm talking about? The extremely baggy Jinko jeans. More power to all these kids bringing whatever is old back. Fashion, with my experience, is cyclical. Whatever is old is new again, and that cycle continues over and over again. So in regards to fashion, I shot all types of things from music video. Well, let's start from the top. I'm sure you heard my first episode, whoever did. And if you didn't, I come from that background of fashion. I originally started off wanting to be a filmmaker, creating great narrative shorts and then moving into full features. But that didn't pan out because, this industry of entertainment and creativity, especially here in Los Angeles at that time, and through that, the road that I took was very, very heartbreaking, but I never gave up on it. But, as you grow older and you get a lot of no's, no matter how determined you might be to do something of that nature, it's very, very difficult to break into that industry without having a little bit of a network, maybe a little bit of nepotism that comes along the way. It's so-and-so's son or daughter or cousin or aunt, what have you. And you saw people who had talent, but not to the extent of a lot of people who gradually died out in the creative field in the decade or two, I should say, that I was running around Hollywood, Los Angeles, and bits and pieces of South Central Los Angeles in the middle of the night at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, running around in high gang activity areas where if anybody else experienced or saw what I saw at 2-3 o'clock in the morning in those type of areas, would run for the hills in their, very safe neighborhoods or what have you. Listen, I know how to, I guess, navigate my way through Los Angeles. You got to know exactly who you're talking to, what type of people you're talking to, and what neighborhood you are in. And I guess just that comes with being raised by people, an immigrant family. They migrated here legally back in the late 70s, and the work ethic and the different places and professions. Like my father, he's a mechanic, and, our family business with my uncle is in East LA area, Montebello, and, being able to experience having conversations with all types of people. It could be somebody who's super well off or is just a blue collar worker, no papers, no nothing. They just grind it out because everybody's trying to take care of their family, which I highly, highly respect. And I guess soaking in all these experiences, I believe that I can relate to many different tiers of people. I guess you want to say, I don't know how to phrase it exactly the right way. I know how to fucking talk to people. Let's put it that way. In the aspect of either you're a bum, or meaning you are low income, mid income, or high income. I mean, you have to find a way to find a voice to be able to communicate the things to said, I guess, tiers of people. So long story short, one of my first gigs that I ever fucking did was at a music video, and I was just a PA, and not even a PA, to be honest with you. They just needed a second, like, BTS photographer from film school, and it was a Ya Boy music video out in Beverly Hills, and I met a bunch of like-minded people there, and I really, we all connected. We had good chemistry, and then gradually we started our own production company. And if you guys have followed my social media throughout the years, you'll know who those people are, and I want to say viral music videos and viral shorts that we had created in the early 2000s, early to mid 2000s. I'm talking about like 2010-ish all the way up to 2018. We did all that, and, it was a lot of work. I was still going to film school, trying to learn the theory of filmmaking, and it was very, very, whatever I learned, the technical aspect, I learned it in school, but I learned how to really navigate this industry by experience, by grinding it out, by, being disappointed, being, lowballed in the aspect of pay. And sometimes I didn't even get paid to do any of these things. I just really enjoyed creating because I think that was my strong suit, and it still is my strong suit. As I go on this long narrative story about why all this creativity was, kind of put on the back burner, I kind of went in the corporate route of creativity, where in reality, that's where, if you ever want to make any real compensation, you will, all the times that you grinded it out there in Hollywood land, or whatever the hell you want to call it. But, there is a need for creatives to give guidance or direction, creative direction, art direction to people that don't know any better, in the aspect of they're not creative. They might be more data centric, maybe analytics, maybe what have you, and they're just a good salesman. But I know for a fact, everything is e-commerce based now, from direct to consumer branding to all the, we purchase with our eyes, right? When you're online, you're buying something, you're purchasing something with your eyes and your sight. And my job is to show the creative direction to be able to have that conversion. And I did that for almost 6-7 years on and off. And this was a hobby. My photography became a hobby. all the fashion related or the editorial photography that I did, shooting for Playboy magazine, Sports Illustrated online, and many other boutique little, startup fashion magazine brands, and even minor, small, direct, fast fashion type of brands, and even electronics where selling headphones or what have you. I learned a little bit of everything everywhere. So my humility is this. I thought I'll be honest, when I first started shooting, and modeling agencies would prefer me to be able to test their new girls. I felt like I was like the go-to guy, and if I keep continuing doing this, I feel like I am going to get to where I really wanted to go. I just wanted to prove a point for just a kid from LA, from an immigrant-ish type family who are all full of hustlers, and hustlers meaning work ethic. Hard work goes a long way, Hard work is, my mom, happy Mother's Day, Mom, by the way. My mom working while she's pregnant with me, working as a cashier in a supermarket, and my dad going down to, downtown, and, he's not really a jeweler, but he learned how to do jewelry work to be able to put food on the table. People didn't have the knowledge that we do. Well, I guess millennial generation forward, or even Gen X forward, that generation of people who have more knowledge and more access to so many different things, from our phones to our laptops to everything. We consume so much information on a minute by minute basis that we are ahead of the curve, but we don't use it to our advantage. And I'm trying to use that to my advantage. Of course, everybody wants to be successful. Of course, everybody wants to, live in a nice place, drive a nice vehicle, go to nice places, nice vacations, nice restaurants, nice jewelry, nice watches, nice whatever, But with all of that, you have to pay a price. It could be, working 10, 12 hours, 14 hours a day just to make that dream happen for your immediate family members. And that work ethic has never left me. It's deep down inside. It's like this fire that is never going out. Listen, I just turned 40 years old, and to this day, I still, my mind is sharp, and there's so many different things I want to do. But my thing is, my trust, my belief in people has kind of died down, and that's why I feel like I want to do everything on my own. And that's why you see me here doing a show on my own with the occasional guests. And I'm trying to learn how to open up much more as somebody who could trust a partner, a business partner, or business partners, or collaborators, or what have you. But it's very, very difficult, especially when you've been kicked 35 times in the face, trying to give people the benefit of the doubt, and that's very, very difficult to do. And I'm going back to my wife, God bless her. She's taught me to see the good in people, see the better side of people. Not everybody's out to come and get you, but maybe it's just living in this place, this city of Hollywood, Los Angeles, where everybody is just go, 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 and everybody's so self-centered and have no real humility. The humility of this city is actually outside of the places that you are comfortable in. That's where you will find the humility of Los Angeles. It's a street vendor trying to make money selling fruit, or, making food on the side of the road, selling t-shirts, or, just doing the jobs that you wouldn't do, or even I wouldn't do, but they'll grind it out. And that's commendable. And that's what I call humility. That's Los Angeles humility. But everybody wants to just sit in a car and make deals on their cell phones, on a laptop, make, quick cash is what they want to do, or start a brand, or there's no real genuine, connection with people. And I think that's where we lost ourselves. And that's why this show is called Lost in Hollywood, because of all those experiences. And, you know, I'm trying to carve out my own little niche in this podcasting space. Listen, I know I don't have thousands or hundreds of thousands of followers, or, you know, but I've carved out something a little bit nice for myself. You know, I've done everything almost. The only thing I haven't shot yet is a feature film. I mean, I'd love to do that, in the future. But right now, I'm just kind of coasting in the corporate world of balancing out and playing the game, the political game, which has also taught me about people's motives, how people conduct themselves, and again, it goes back to how can I believe in something, well, more so in people, when right in front of me, it's a game. Well, life is a game. I understand that. And that's where I'm kind of trying to find myself where, believe me, excuse me, I'm trying to figure out how to carve or kind of navigate myself through these scenarios where there's days where I just want to get up and quit, or, you know, I feel like I'm being or trying to be manipulated by other superiors or what have you. But I'm genuinely a caring person, and my leadership, I guess, well, I'm not going to dwell on that. My leadership is pretty well, and everything else is in that space is going okay for now, and let's see what happens. But I'll give you an example. One of the first things I ever shot was a music video. We would run around in the streets, as I said, in Crenshaw, in the Hoover District, Compton, all those places. One of the first music videos that we ever shot was for Young Berg. I don't know if you guys remember Sexy Lady, that guy. Well, you know what I mean. A hip hop artist, and we met Kid Ink, and, you know, he's a local, you know, LA legend now. You know, he's kind of not in the, what can I say? It's not as popular as he was before. Hey, Kid Ink, if you ever hear this or see this, you're a good dude, bro. And, you know, he had the humility. And from there, I met, you know, as I said, with my acquaintances, I met DJ Ill Will, and he introduced us to so many different hip hop artists. And one of the main ones that really put us on the radar of other artists was Wiz Khalifa's The Statement from Kush and Orange Juice. I shot that handheld with a camera my mother and my dad and my aunt bought. They all chipped in as my first real cinema camera. It was a Canon 5D Mark I with a full rig and, you know, monitor, everything like that. We met him in an alley in Hollywood. We shot it in about 2 hours, and then I took it home and I edited it in overnight. And I've always been interested in filmmaking because when I was a kid, I would go with my dad to the movies, and as I grew up, I started getting into music videos because back in the day there was MTV Jams of the Week, Top 10 countdowns, etc. And it really caught my interest. And then from hip hop, I kind of transitioned into rock music and heavy metal in regards to musical taste wise. And, you know, me being Armenian, I'm a big fan of, obviously, System of a Down. What Armenian isn't? And, you know, that kind of showed me that four guys who have the same cultural background can collaborate with one another and make legendary music. And here we are 30 years-ish later. They're still, you know, occasionally, sparingly touring, but they're still, you know, relevant to this day because the music was so amazing. And then from there it transitioned into Tool and Deftones, and we could go to Led Zeppelin and Creedence Clearwater Revival. You know, it's a mishmash of things that I really listen to. And I'm like, you know what? I would really like to get into, you know, being a music video director. Well, I was trying to be able to do that. I turned out to be a cinematographer, a director of photography, and an editor. But the funny thing is, the person who claimed to be a director couldn't direct his way out of a shoebox. and he would tap me on the shoulder because I am a type of person that I will go and be very outspoken and give you the direction. And that is creative direction. And that is being a director. But, me being naive and whatever, I'm like, yeah, I think I could be a director of photography. I should have, really stood up for myself at the time and let the fake shit of other people not, how can I say this? I should have grasped the moment at the time and said no, and should have really carved out that role for myself. And, I don't regret it now, but I guess that is the journey I had to go through to get here now. Met a lot of great people along the way, a lot of great acquaintances. Some of them I still keep in touch with, and a lot of them, they just died on the vine. And after that, I kind of started a little streetwear brand called Street Socialites. And that had a great trajectory, but the egos collide, more so other people's than mine, because again, I look at it as from the creative side and not the business side of things. And I guess the person found something else to be able to carve out for themselves, and left me high and dry. And that's life. Again, a learning experience. And from there, I'm like, I'm going to do this by myself. And that's where the fashion photography really, really, really caught my attention. And it caught the attention of a lot of other people. I was shooting everything on 35 millimeter film or medium format film. And then I learned to really develop the film at home, because I noticed it was very, very expensive to get it developed and then scanned and then give it back to me. And then the process of, the turnaround time. So I cut the turnaround time down pretty low, and, I bought all the chemicals, and I was doing all this stuff in my bathroom, hanging film off the shower doors, with clips. And then I bought a film scanner from an old photo store online, and they were going out of business, and I used that scanner and shot everything on film, because I'm like, well, everybody can shoot a digital camera, but you only get a certain amount of shots per roll of film. Obviously you get 36 images off a 35 millimeter roll, depending, it could be 36 or 24. In a medium format, it could be anywhere from 8, 5, 12, depending on the format. If it's 1:1, 6:4:5, what have you. So I don't want to get into the technical aspect of it, but that's the direction I went. And, I was building my social media presence, let's put it that way, for that. And I built a really nice following, and people really started reaching out to me, wanting me to do this and that. But they never wanted to show any type of compensation, except for modeling agencies, obviously here and there, but it's not something that you can survive on, especially if you're trying to build a family and etc. You gotta, this business is very, very dirty. The people in it are very, very dirty. It's very, very rare that you'll find maybe 10% of the industry, especially the modeling industry, are actual genuine people that want you to, especially if they like you, especially they see that you're a decent person, would want you to be successful. But most of them are, again, self-centered, selfish people who automatically assume they have the finger on the pulse of trends and they think they're, creative curators or what have you, but it's a joke. And that's why I transitioned to this as my creative outlet. Here I am in my studio, solo dolo, first time in a while, because I would love to have more guests on. Well, I'll have guests on, but you're going to hear a lot of these type of like ranting kind of storytelling podcasts from me, because I want you to experience my mind of where I stand, especially. No, I mean, this is only one topic that I can bring about, but there's so many other personal experiences you'll hear from me about friends and family, good and bad. I'm not going to mention anyone because, well, I'll cut that part out. We're gonna talk about so many different things, from friends and family and businessmen and other creatives and mutual people, even shooting the shit with people that catch my interest. I love comedy. I love music. I love fashion. I love fragrances. If you know anything about me, I'm a very I'm a collector of fragrances. Let's put it that way. Okay. So, I'm always curious about things of that nature, from sneakers to clothes to photography, just trendy, not really trendy stuff. Like I think people should be able to figure out how to be unique in themselves, not follow trends. And I want to just do this really quickly, as a one-off, one shoot, like podcast type of thing. And if you are interested on coming on the show, you could DM me at lost_in Hollywood on Instagram, or mainly there is probably the best thing. Or if you have my direct contact, you could go ahead and call me anytime you like, or text me so we could set that up, and I'll be prepared for you. I'm always prepared for a great conversation. I'm always curious. That's what my curiosity led to me doing this. As I said, I was MIA. I redid the studio. I wanted to have a little bit more of a professional vibe to it. That's pretty much the gist of story. So the story of how I started film school. Film school led to me doing behind the scenes photography. Behind the scenes photography led to shooting BTS again for an auto company of glorified body shop in Hollywood. I'm not going to mention anybody's name or names by their glorified body shop who think they were something special, but they really weren't. And from there, it transitioned into music videos where we shot Wiz Khalifa, Tyga, Chris Brown, Sean Kingston. And these people are in reality no longer really relevant, maybe one or two. Tyga right now is making a shitload of money doing streaming, and he did his OnlyFans. He dated Kylie Jenner for a while. He dated a bunch of people for a while, and good for him. Good for him and good for everyone. Everybody, again, has their own path and trajectory, and I'm just trying to figure out mine. And just as realistic as I'm trying to be, you should figure out yours as well. Never rely on people to start something or believe in something that you are passionate about, because they don't know that your mindset. They don't know what you're trying to do. Only you know what you want to do. And I know I want to do this. And what is this? I think this is a great creative outlet to be able to have a great conversation with people, a great creative outlet to, spark other creative endeavors with it. So with that came with, yesterday I was literally trying to figure out what would be the structure for this podcast. And I think when there is a guest, there could be a structure, but I'm just really right now, I'm just riffing it off of it, off this place. And why I say that is because what came to my mind was a brand. I want to start another, clothing brand called Honor Will Come, because I think it kind of exemplifies what I believe in. No matter what people think of you, I don't really give a shit what anybody thinks of me, to be honest with you. I'm very cordial with everyone, and I'm very genuine with everyone. There isn't, and I wish no ill will towards anyone. I'm just a very different type of person, I guess, as my wife calls it. Oh, you were out there. I'm out there in the aspect of I think differently. Trying to find how to make, a living by being creative is very difficult. If you have to have a couple of like-minded people in your immediate circle to be able to do that. And I think I have a few, and who have been very, very vocal about, dude, you have to go out there and do this, because I think this is a great way for you to really showcase your voice and the creativity that comes along with my voice. So I just wanted to kind of have a short little podcast, solo dolo. Next week, I will have a good friend on. Hopefully next week. Well, I'll tell you this way. We're going to have my friend Aaron from Havid Nagan. It's a independent watchmaker. He was on a little last year, a few years back. His brand grew, his creativity grew, and I'm so proud of him. And now he's getting the recognition that he deserves. Number two, I'll have a good friend of mine on who's actually a party coordinator. She became a really good friend through my wife. It's her best friend. and she's my martini friend. She'll explain to you exactly what kind of mentality I have when it comes to a really nice dirty gin martini, sitting in a hotel lobby or hotel bar, people watching, having great conversations, like I like to do. And yeah, that would be one of them. And her story and her struggles and trying to find her niche in party planning, wedding planning. She was originally a pastry chef. She, tried to start a business here and there. Anyway, I don't want to give away too much. We're going to have that. We're going to have a few comedians on here. We're going to have a lot of just a boys podcast here where we shoot the shit, have a few drinks, have a few cigars, check some shit out on the internet and figure out and kind of go back and discuss things that we like, great movies, athletes, teams that we, grew up watching, sneakers, what have you. It doesn't make a difference. Every topic is interesting to me because there's an opportunity for me to learn something and for you to learn something. And with that, I want to leave you guys on a very short and sweet little podcast. My name is Levon Moradian, and this is episode 2, season 2 of Lost in Hollywood. Stick around. Again, you can find me on social media at Levon Moradian or Levon Moradian in the way people would say it in Armenian, or at Lost_Hollywood on Instagram. The website is lostnhollywood.com. Everything, it'll be here somewhere. Thanks for listening, and I appreciate all of you. And yeah, that's it. You enjoy your week. Hopefully the grind doesn't really stress you guys out. Wherever you are in the world, just keep your head up and just keep your head up, and grind it out. Because you got to prove people wrong. And then that's the ultimate motivation. Prove yourself wrong first, in the aspect of you can do it, and you did do it, even though you had to go through so many hurdles to get there. Again, Lost in Hollywood season 2, episode 2. We'll see you guys on the next one. Peace. Good night.